coming back to the negotiations that are happening these days, we see Pakistan being as one of the visible mediators. Do you think a country like Pakistan has the credibility to be in a position of such importance?
No, I don't think so. I said multiple times, I don't think that they're reliable. I think that it's up to the United States to decide. At the end of the day, we have to recognize as Israelis that sometimes the United States has managed to work with very problematic players in order to achieve a result. We remember it from the Gaza deal, in which they took action by putting pressure on Hamas through Qatar and Turkey. Qatar and Turkey are sponsors of Hamas. We think that's wrong. It's illegitimate. But the United States has been able to exercise pressure through them. The challenge is that when you have mediators like that are leaning towards a terrorist entity or are legitimizing terrorism or radicalism, then it's very tricky because the United States has to exercise special caution not to fall into traps that can be put not only by the opposing side, but also by the mediator.
Israel has a policy of mandatory military trainings, and I'm sure you also have gone through it, right? Yes. But there are concerns among people, some of the people in Israelis, that it should not be mandatory. Do you think that's something that should be an issue for a country like Israel? Should it be mandatory training for military?
Look, I think that every country has to decide for themselves according to the level of threat that they have. Unfortunately, in our case, we still suffer from a pretty high level of threat. We are not recruiting at the same rate that we were recruiting 40 or 50 years ago, because then really everybody were recruited. Now, sometimes there are considerations why not to recruit a person, so they are exempted. It's a pretty high percentage of the population. But we are still recruiting whoever is fit, because this is the need of the hour.
Would you suggest the same for a country like India, given the situation?
Well, I think you were blessed not only with a lot of territory, but also with a lot of population. And I'm sure that your government is going to recruit the number that it sees fit in order to defend your country. There is a positive aspect of conscription, and that is that you get the sense of, what are the challenges on your society at a very young age, and you receive responsibility at a very young age, and it matures you. Okay. It makes you usually a more productive person, a more responsible person, faster. But at the end of the day, it doesn't mean that one size fits all. Each country has to find its own way. And I know, because I see the success of this country, that your government is probably making the right decisions for itself.